Hey guys, this is Lori here, international speaker, life strategist, published author, wellness advocate, and entrepreneur. Get ready. As I was reflecting on my year, I started thinking, what really is important? I mean, it's great to have a plan. I am a woman with a plan. I believe in planning. I have a planner. I love my planner. I think that you can live life with greater intention when you know what you're doing and where you're going. But even at the same time, I think that we can't get so caught up. We have to balance that, right? We can't get so caught up in our plan that we don't take time to really honor the things that matter, matters of the heart. I want to talk about something that's really important, and it's a topic of respect. I think that truly is a matter of the heart. It is something that, as a society, we need to have in order to remain civilized, right? In order to prevent us from becoming barbaric. We need to have respect, not just for each other, but for ourselves and for the world around us, for the earth, for the planet, for the environment. We need to have respect. Of course, I had to look up the word respect because if I'm going to be talking about something, I need to make sure I'm clear on the definition. And what jumped out at me when I looked it up in the dictionary was the word that said giving particular attention to, meaning that there's something that you hold in high regard and that you consider valuable. As we look at society that we live in, we see that there isn't any particular attention given to anything that is of substance. It seems like we major on the minor, as my father would say. We don't focus on the things that truly matter, and we esteem the things that really don't, the really superficial. And another thing that I noticed, just looking even at the news, guys, just the news, there doesn't seem to be value placed on human beings, on life itself. Life is precious, and the minute that we stop believing that life is precious, then we start to view people in a disrespectful manner. We start to tolerate people, and we lose the ability to have a compassionate spirit and see the value that each human being has to contribute. We are not an island to ourselves. And so the minute that we start looking at people, devaluing people, now you can disagree with someone. Come on now. We're not robots. Okay, I've been married for 23 years, and trust me when I tell you, my husband and I do not always agree. But we don't disrespect each other in our disagreements. And if we do, we go back and we make it right. We try to make amends and try to mend fences so that we can keep our marriage intact. And I think as a society, we have stopped doing that. Instead of going back and making amends for something that we've said or done, we try to justify it so that we don't have to face the fact that we may have been a little ugly in that instance. It's a lot easier to deflect than to reflect, okay? It's a lot easier to shift the blame than to actually look at ourselves and see what role we had in whatever we're in the situation that we're in. Respect is truly a matter of the heart. It is the true essence of life. We have to, on purpose, deliberately respect people. So we know how to push each other's buttons. So in a society where that seems to be happening more and more, we have to on purpose say, I am going to decide right now that I'm going to value this person and I'm going to respect them even if they don't respect me. Now, right? That's hard to do too. Sometimes people just don't know better. Okay? Ignorance, stubbornness, pride, whatever. But you still have to hold your standard. You still have to be a person that can show the world a different side of humanity. But again, it's a challenge when people are pushing your buttons. It's a challenge to say, okay, you're getting on my nerves right now, but I am not going to say something that's going to devalue or disrespect you. And if I feel like I want to, I'm going to just be quiet. Because what it does is it preserves your integrity. Okay? And because once something is said, you might be able to apologize and make amends, but you can't press the rewind button like you do. Remember, back in the day, we had those cassette tapes. When we wanted to hear a certain part, we would just back it up until like the whole thing, until the tape got all twisted up. But we can't do that with real life. Once words are out there, they're out there. So it's better to just bite your tongue, bite that lip, take a breather, take a break, bring yourself together, than to say something that you have to later fix or make amends. So I want to share with you 4 things that I believe will help you to be on purpose or be purposeful in respecting others. So the 4 things that I want to leave with you very quickly that will help you in becoming a person that is very intentional in respecting people is be a good listener. Now, this is something that is a pet peeve of mine. Let me tell you, okay? It bugs me when I'm talking to someone and they're not listening. Oh, that grates me. Why? Because I feel disrespected. I feel like you don't have the decency to put the phone down, to pause your television show, to look me in the eyes, and I'm saying something to you that I think is important, that I think could help you, or something that you need to hear, or whatever, and you don't even want to give me your full attention. So respect starts with being able to listen, undivided attention. I value you. I value what you have to say above anything else that's going on in my life right now. And I'm going to actively listen to you and give you my full attention so that you can say what you need to say and I can hear it. So the second thing that you can do that will help you to be intentional about showing respect is being a person that encourages. So when you're listening to a person and when they're talking to you, or even when you're out and about, you may not even be in a conversation with people, but you might be in the store and you might be around a complete stranger. Pay attention, give them a nod, give them a smile, make eye contact, let them know that you see them. One of the ways to respect a person is to let them know that you see them, that they are there. I mean, they know they're there, but sometimes when people just walk by and they never look you in the eye ever or smile at you ever, you start to wonder what's going on here? Like, I know I'm here, but why am I not being acknowledged? Why am I not being respected? Be an encourager. Take a moment to say something nice. And if you can't say something nice, smile, nod. Do not rip them apart. Don't let your pain spew out onto them. Now, the third thing, which is really important, you want to actively listen, you want to encourage, but you also want to celebrate. Now, this is important because what you celebrate is what will be drawn to you. Okay? So if you are a negative person, if you are a discouraging person, that's what's going to be drawn to you. As they say, birds of a feather flock together. So celebrate. Take the time to acknowledge a person when they've done something great. If they've come to you, and let's just say, for example, someone comes to me, a kid, let's say a kid, for example, they come to me and they go, wow, Mrs. Lori, I learned my ABCs. Now, I'm 40-something years old. I know my ABCs. That's not a big deal to me. Whatever. But can you imagine if I said to the child, so what? Everybody knows their ABCs. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how that child would feel? You would literally crush that child's spirit. Totally. Because not only did you not celebrate them, but you discredited their accomplishment as if it was nothing. But instead, even if it's something that's simple to you, celebrate it. So, Mrs. Lori, I learned my alphabet. Wow, you learned your alphabet? That's amazing. That must have taken you a long time, and you should be very proud of yourself. Do you know that because you know your alphabet, now you can read? Now you can write? That's amazing. You see the difference? But again, one person is celebrating, the other person is discrediting. That comes from a happy place. You've got to be happy within yourself to be able to celebrate somebody else. If you hate your life and you hate what's going on in your life, you're not going to want to celebrate anyone else. So we've got to do some inner work, right, to be authentic in our ability to celebrate others. Now, the last thing is, this kind of ties into celebrating, but you want to be a good listener, you want to be an encourager, you want to celebrate. The last thing we want to do is we want to show appreciation. We want to say thank you. How disrespectful is that if you sacrificed time, money, potential earnings, sleep, all these things to help someone over and over and over again, and they never once acknowledge you, privately or publicly? How would that make you feel? It will make you feel used and misused and even abused. If a person continually takes and never gives, never honors, never acknowledges, never says thank you, you'll find yourself in a perpetual situation where that's happening. You need to reevaluate the people you have around you, the people you have in your circle, and you might need to make some changes. When a person can praise everybody else who does barely anything for them, but the person who's pouring the most in them, they can't acknowledge or say thank you at least once, you need to really look at where that person is in your life, where they should be in your life, and how you need to be dealing with them going forward. So being deliberate about showing respect means you need to say thank you. You need to acknowledge what they've done. Even if you can't give them something, even if you don't have the money to buy them that brand new coat that they were looking at, just calling them up, sending them a text message and saying, hey, you know what? I was just sitting here thinking about my friends, and I just want you to know that I so appreciate you in my life. You are an amazing individual, and you've added so much value to my life. I thank God for your presence. Do you see what that does? Just listening to me say that. Can't you feel how you feel? So we're going to be deliberate about being respectful to people in a culture and in a society where disrespect is becoming the norm. We have to do it on purpose. We have to give particular attention to a person, and we have to hold them in high regard. We have to look at them and appraise them and say, this person is bringing value. May not be value to me personally, but they're adding value somewhere, and I need to honor and respect them as a human being on this planet. I want to encourage you, if you've found yourself in a position where you've been disrespected, where you've been ignored, if your accomplishments have been devalued, if you are being tolerated instead of being celebrated, I want to encourage you to not become that. Don't become the thing that is hurting you. If you purpose in your heart that you're not going to become a person who hurts, what will happen is you will start to shift mentally, and you'll start to find yourself being or having people attracted or drawn to you that will value you, who will respect you, and will honor you for who you are. When you start to see yourself differently, then that's the first step of breaking out of the mold of being in an environment where you're being disrespected and not honored and devalued. And you start to attract to yourself people that will honor you and respect you and value you. And what happens is then that feeds into your value even more. And so you want to do more, you want to become more, you want to add more value because you're being fed respect and honor and appreciation. Make up your mind that you want to do things differently. You want to break the cycle, and you want to break out. Because usually when you're in an environment where you're constantly being disrespected, it usually means that you think very little of yourself, and so you've allowed yourself, you've given people the permission or the clearance to speak to you and disrespect you in a way that's inappropriate because you yourself don't see yourself as a person of value.